So it looked like Nike has found themselves in a world of trouble after this big-time Super Bowl commercial.
Did you notice that Nike recently released a new advertisement immediately following the Super Bowl? Fans are going crazy, but not in a good way. Everyone was excited when Caitlin Clark, the women's basketball superstar, appeared in their Super Bowl commercial. However, when Nike released another advertisement for a t-shirt featuring her picture, they, guess what, did not even mention her name. Every other athlete received a shout-out, but Caitlin received none at all, as if she didn't even exist.
And then we're going to have a couple Caitlin Clark cameos here and there just to appease everybody, okay? Just to appease everybody. That's what we're going to do. But the day after, that's when we really roll out the real commercial.
One moment, Nike and Caitlin Clark were on top of the world, and the next, they were on social media. You know that sensation when you're riding high and then all of a sudden, the ground slips out from under you? Firestorm. Let's dissect it.
Less than 24 hours after a big-time Nike commercial that pretty much starred Caitlin Clark and other women athletes, Nike had found themselves in serious hot water after another commercial that has been released about the t-shirt I reported on yesterday.
Picture this. On Super Bowl Sunday, Nike releases this incredible ad and Caitlin Clark is in the spotlight, looking like the complete superstar she is. Fans are ecstatic, and social media is exploding with discussion about how Nike finally got it right by showcasing one of the biggest names in women's basketball.
You can't speak up. You can't be so ambitious. You can't break records. You can't have any fun. You can't make demands. You can't keep score. You can't stand out. Whatever you do, you can't win.
It's a fantastic ad, but this is where things start to get interesting. Nike chooses to run another campaign, this time for a commemorative t-shirt that features every player from the Super Bowl commercial. You watch it, hoping for them to say Caitlin's name, but you never hear it.
You want to know what I'm selling? I'm selling greatness! Asia Wilson, 3-time MVP. We got Jordan Childs, we got Juju Watkins, we got Sha'Carri Richardson.
Okay.
We got Arena Sabalenka.
Champion.
Hustling is not easy, but I love it. Sabrina, I know you want a team. Thinking about it? You're thinking about it. They're gonna go fast, kind of like Sha'Carri. I accept card. Where's the card? Come on.
Oh, wait, but what's in that box?
These don't come out till March. They may or may not be shirts, but if I tell you, I'm gonna have to kill you. Oh, you want one of these? Nike.com.
Isn't that unbelievable? It seems as though Nike forgot Caitlin Clark ever existed when they omitted her name. This is the same Caitlin Clark who is featured prominently in their Super Bowl commercial and has been setting records one after another.
It was reported that Caitlin Clark will be featured on a Nike t-shirt alongside everybody else that starred in that Nike commercial yesterday at the Super Bowl. Well, I'm here to tell you, they released a new ad in regards to that t-shirt and the one with Caitlin Clark with the light bulb, and she's pretty much the A. Y'all know what I'm talking about. I reported on that last week, man. Why did Nike do this?
One fan tweeted, "Why wasn't Caitlin Clark's name said?" Is a good question, right? I mean, if you're going to use someone in your big Super Bowl ad, wouldn't you want to, I don't know, actually acknowledge them? Now, you might be wondering how Nike could mess up this badly. It gets even more bizarre.
That Nike has, and as y'all can see, that's the shirt with all of the athletes that featured in that commercial on it. Something that stood out among the Caitlin Clark fan base is them not mentioning Caitlin Clark's name at all in this whole damn ad.
However, it wasn't just uncertainty. Many were outright upset. One fan didn't hold back, saying, "You might as well drop her and let her sign with a company that truly values her if you're not even going to mention her name while you mention everyone else." That must have hurt Nike.
Other person said, "Y'all never beaten the allegations, Nike. Why put Caitlin Clark jersey in this BS? If this lady won't say her name, and she should, dumb."
And let me tell you, it didn't end there. Comments like, "You guys are a bunch of clowns at Nike," were all over the internet, and people weren't holding back. It seemed like Nike grabbed all the goodwill they had accrued from the Super Bowl commercial and lit it on fire. When fans begin to compare your star athlete to someone who shouldn't be identified, you know it's awful. In fact, One fan even called Caitlin Lord Voldemort in Nike's marketing campaign. What a spectacular marketing failure.
So the WNBA, heck, women's sports it seems, has its own Lord Voldemort. She who shall not be named. Because we saw ESPN of every single female athlete that appeared during the Super Bowl, named all of them. Named every single one of them. Except number 22 from Indiana.
However, fans are pointing out that this isn't an isolated incident. Rather, it's part of a pattern, claiming that Nike has continuously failed to provide Clark with adequate support, from sneaker releases and delays to a lackluster marketing campaign. It seems as though Nike is at a loss for what to do with one of the biggest names in women's basketball.
After we had such a great time during the Super Bowl yesterday, this is crazy, man. I don't know who the admin is over their PR or with these commercials, but they don't like Caitlin Clark, bro. It's clear as day that they don't like her.
Additionally, some fans are already discussing boycotting Nike because it hurts their finances. No Caitlin Clark mentioned money, but one person said that it's obvious that fans are willing to defend their favorite player even if it means abandoning a well-known company.
Somebody else said, what a joke. I'm so over Nike. I think I will put my money in other places. CC is actually signed with Boycott Nike.
Did you witness the recent events? It's like witnessing a slow-motion train catastrophe, but with tweets traveling at supersonic speed. Nike's Super Bowl had just come crumbling down, and supporters are furious. We're talking about a fan base that went from celebrating to full-on fury mode in record time.
To be honest, I'm not even blaming Nike at this stage. I'm blaming 22 from Indiana's agent. Because you better believe, if 22 from Indiana, like Aja, like Juju, was a member of Clutch Sports, this ad would not have seen light. This ad would not have been released. This ad would not have been released. It just wouldn't have. This ad would not have been released.
Here's the deal, then. When Caitlin Clark's ad without her name was released, social media went crazy. You know how sometimes you see a few furious comments and think, oh, it'll blow over, but this time this is next level. Her followers aren't just upset. They're on a mission. Anger.
They named all of them. And now with Nike, they're listing out the names of this. And of course, who do they ignore? The number 22 out of Indiana. Let's take a look at the Nike commercial. And by the way, the most popular of all these sports people is number 22 out of Indiana.
Let's explore some of the most intriguing observations made by Clark's fanbase. One supporter didn't hold back, stating that you might as well let her sign with a company that genuinely values her if you're not even going to mention her name while you mention everyone else. Nike, can you feel the burn?
Somebody said, you guys are a bunch of clowns at Nike, at Soul Retriever. Somebody else stated, seriously, if you're not even going to mention her name while you mention everyone else, you might as well drop her and let her sign with the company that truly values her.
You may be thinking that you might as well let her sign with the firm that genuinely values her. It's undoubtedly only a noisy minority. Am I correct? The criticism is spreading more quickly than a highlight reel, and one fan summarized the atmosphere perfectly. The Nike department is looking eerie since people are now connecting the links and don't like the image they're seeing.
Somebody said, Nike, and that is why you are broke. I miss the old leadership so much. Someone said, no Caitlin Clark mentioned, no money. Somebody else said, you was doing so well. Wasn't they doing good? They was doing so good. Yesterday was a class act. Oh my God. Somebody else said, well, LOL. Somebody said, Nike, it was right there. You know what I'm saying? Like, it was right there.
This is where things start to get really interesting. As I mentioned earlier, fans were on a mission, but they're not just venting their complaints online. Instead, they're organizing. We're talking about entire social media campaigns that are all calling for the same thing: fairness for Caitlin Clark.
Yeah, like at this stage, the only person you can blame is the agent of 22 for Indiana. That's the only person you can blame, because like that Nike deal is one of the worst deals ever signed in sports.
The boycott talks are more than just rhetoric anymore. If Nike doesn't make things right, these fans are seriously considering giving up the swoosh. They want respect, recognition, and they're not afraid to hit Nike where it hurts the most financially.
And the worst part is that Nike are fumbling so badly, is their company's on the ropes. They needed that Super Bowl commercial where she's front and center in that, but as soon as it's anyone has to speak a word out of their mouth, she's Lord Voldemort.
But in an attempt to steer clear of controversy, here's the kicker: IT would be humorous if it weren't so upsetting for Clark's supporters. But one fan pointed out the ridiculousness of it all, claiming that Nike treated Clark like Lord Voldemort. You know, the one whose name must not be mentioned. Nike may have just created their biggest PR problem to date.
So, you put all the blame, if 22 from Indiana signed with Clutch Sports, the shoe's already released, she probably makes 40 mil from that shoe deal minimum, not 28 mil. And she would not have signed an 8-year deal with Nike.
Fans appear to be fairly certain that it's the latter. They're not just upset about this one, and they're upset about what they perceive to be a pattern of disrespect. And let me tell you, they're not letting Nike off the hook easily. You might be wondering if this is a one-time error or a part of a larger issue.
I wish Caitlyn nothing but the best, and I don't want to believe it's Nike, man. I really, really don't want to believe it's Nike, the brand. I want to believe it's the people that work for Nike, that keep dropping the ball on this Caitlyn Clark stuff.
If you think the most recent ad drama is awful, get ready, because we're going to reveal Nike's whole history with Caitlyn Clark. I promise you, it's like watching a highlight reel of embarrassing moments. You won't believe how long this goes.
You're just fueling the false narrative that black players don't like Caitlyn Clark, which I have to agree with that, bro. This is looking really spooky by Nike, dog.
Now, you may be thinking, well, so Nike made a huge mistake with one ad. This isn't an isolated incident. It's a pattern so recurring that it will leave you reeling. From shoe delays to marketing blunders, we're dissecting each instance in which Nike failed with their biggest star, and believe me, it's not beautiful.
Pretty.
Somebody else said, so you make this ad and you mention everyone else except Caitlyn Clark. She is the reason for all of the hype. Show the respect she deserves. Can't wait for CC to go with another brand. Will respect her. Your history is bookmarked.
It seems like Nike is playing a game of how long we can make Caitlyn's fans wait. And spoiler alert, they're winning that game but losing everything else. Let's start with the sneakers. You would think that Nike would be all over getting Caitlyn Clark's signature shoes out there, but once again, fans have been waiting and waiting and waiting.
I really don't want to believe it's Nike itself, but it's looking real spooky in the Nike department, bro. We have been getting late news when it comes to her sneakers, late news when it comes to her shirts, and it's just been looking real spooky from the Nike department, bro.
We're talking about one of the most well-known female athletes in the world, and Nike is treating her like a bench warmer. Can you believe it? Well, apparently Nike missed the memo when it comes to Caitlyn Clark. Her lack of attention is not only disappointing, but downright shocking. But wait, there's more. Let's talk marketing. That's what companies do to promote their star athletes.
And it's looking like a lot of Caitlyn Clark fans is keeping receipts with all of the nonsense Nike has been doing, man. This is wrong. And it's just unfortunate, Time and time again, we find ourselves in this Nike situation with them kind of not showing Caitlyn Clark love. I'm here to tell you, dog, it's looking very spooky yet again from the Nike department.
This is where things become really fascinating. According to some people, Caitlyn would be well known everywhere if she had a stronger agency on her side. Nike seems to be attempting to hide her from everyone, billboards, ads, etc. And it's not only awful for Caitlyn, it's horrible for women's sports in general.
But yeah, man, as y'all can see there, Nike has failed to say anything about Caitlyn, man. Like I say, it's very unfortunate coming off the day that we had yesterday with that Super Bowl commercial, getting all of the behind the scenes stuff look with Caitlyn after that commercial, and for them to sit up here drop another commercial, look 24 hours later, and not even mention her name. The level of disrespect is at an all-time high.
And fans are recognizing that they're ready to switch ship. They're not simply angry. Boycotts are being discussed, and companies that genuinely value Clark are being urged to take action. Nike is struggling so badly that they may lose control of one of the most well-known basketball brands.
By the end, if she was to negotiate that deal right now, it would be minimum 10 million a year, and she signed long-term for 3 million a year. The Under Armour deal was so much better. 4 years, 16 million, and immediately being what the Aaron Fox is and the face of the Curry line. And you got your signature shoe basically straight away. You go to Under Armour, 4 years, 16 mil, and because 4 years a lot shorter than 8, with the potential of you leaving, you would be in a position to renegotiate now for maybe even an additional 2 years, but instead of 4 mil a year, you're getting 12 million a year.
The worst part is that, in addition to harming Caitlin Clark, these incidents and lost opportunities are contributing to a larger issue in women's sports, and Nike's recent stunt isn't sitting well with anyone.
And at this stage, like, I would be tempted to go to another shoe brand. I'd be tempted to go to another shoe brand and be like, look, buy out my Nike deal. Just buy it out. Buy it out. Like Caitlin Clark's, I said her name, damn. Her, realistically, she could command 10-year, 80 million minimum. She could go to any other brand and double the amount of money per year Nike are paying her and get that brand to buy out her Nike contract on top of that.
Okay, so this is where the fascinating part begins. Fans are demanding more from these major brands, and they're not holding back. They're saying, hey, it's time to step up and show Caitlin Clark the respect she deserves. The backlash against Nike has expanded beyond just one advertisement to include a whole movement in women's sports marketing.
But yeah, you have your most popular athlete, not named LeBron James, or Michael Jordan, obviously. Your second most popular athlete, maybe most popular right now, including LeBron, and you are not only not, like, the only thing they've had is the really awful, like, stage light t-shirt, the rookie of the year one, which is just text on a t-shirt, and you've now got the text on a t-shirt rookie of the year one, and now obviously her face is on one of the t-shirts where, you know, she's on it with the likes of Paige Beck and Juju, and they'll mention Juju Watkins. They will mention the 5th best player in college basketball, but not mention the most popular women's basketball player in the history of the sport.
However, the worst part is that hashtags like #boycott are destroying your social media accounts. Nike supporters aren't merely talking. They're also acting, and supporting you may be wondering what Nike will do well. And one thing is for certain, they have a lot of explaining to do, and these fans aren't backing down anytime soon. The ball is in Nike's court now, and everyone is watching to see if they'll step up or stumble again. Caitlin Clark is pushing for her to find a brand that truly gets her worth. It's like watching a revolution unfold in real time.